What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing a little bit of a Scarlet and Violet booster box update, but we're also going to look at the PC ETBs from the Sword and Shield era. We'll start off with Paldea Evolved because this is the one I think a lot of you guys want to know about right now. Crazy 3-month chart, up about 60%. You could have been buying this back in early April for around $220, $225. It's now going to run you fairly close to $375, $400. And we did talk about yesterday this box pushing towards $400. Today we've seen sales a bit lower, $373, $390, $368. And on eBay, what I'm seeing, at least over the past week compared to the prior, is a fairly large drop in sell-through rate. So I would not be surprised if one of the possibilities that we talked about, which was Paldea Evolved staying around 375 and leveling out here, is going to happen. Now, outside of Paldea Evolved, Twilight Masquerade's made a move. It's now sitting around $282. This is really surprising to me because there's a decent amount of Twilight on eBay right now. You can still buy this box in like the 250-ish range, 260 range. So the fact that it's pushing 280 at this point on TCG Player is a little bit surprising to me, especially because some of those sellers on eBay are quite large stores in the US. And outside of those two boxes, I don't think there's anything worth having a massive discussion on. I mean, all the boxes were up this week, but a couple more that I just pointed out were SV based because this is back over $200 again, but also because it has a fairly low supply and sell-through rate was up slightly this week. And when I say low supply, I think there was like 80-ish boxes below a 20% leg up, which isn't a ton compared to a lot of the other boxes like Twilight, like Temporal Forces, which Hobbiesville put more boxes back on eBay this week. Obsidian Flames, I think there was 130 boxes below that 20% leg up as well. So a lot of these SV boxes I don't think are going to go crazy, but we're going to see them slowly move up. And then the final one I think you should keep your eye on is Stellar Crown, just because kind of like SV base, there isn't a ton out there compared to a lot of these other boxes, which is surprising to me because it's one of the newer sets from the Scarlet and Violet era. And I think now with Temporal Forces making a move towards $230, we really shouldn't be surprised if Stellar Crown starts to creep up to around $220, $225. Now, before we talk about Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes from the Sword and Shield era, and there's some very interesting data there, I want to give a shout out to today's video sponsor, the Shiny app. Guys, whether you're investing or collecting in Pokemon or other TCGs, it's very important to be organized and know what you have at all times. And Shiny is a mobile app that allows you to track your collection, whether it's sealed product or singles or slabs. They cover all the main games like Pokemon, One Piece, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic. And for Pokemon, they cover English, Japanese, and Chinese. Their app is much easier to use than their competitors, and one thing that they're doing is updating twice daily from sites like TCG Player, eBay, Card Market, and price charting to make sure you have the most accurate data possible. They also have some other awesome features like their centering tool if you're sending off cards to grade, and also their quick links to eBay and TCG Player, so if you're in the middle of bartering, you can easily pull up data. And the best part is that it's free, so I'm going to leave links to the Google Play and App Store down below, and thank you again to Shiny for sponsoring the video. Alright, so here's the data for the Sword and Shield Pokemon Center ETBs starting with Crown Zenith. And what I've done is I've rank ordered them from lowest return to highest return over the past 12 months. And you can see Pokemon Go is going to be at the bottom, even though it's kind of at the top of this list. We'll go from lowest to highest here. Pokemon Go, about $123 currently. That's market price for this box. And it's up 124.7% over the past year. And I mean, that's great, right? Like Pokemon Go, you could have doubled your money on in a 12-month period. I mean, you really just have to stop and appreciate the gains we're seeing in Pokemon right now. A set as bad as Pokemon Go, you can double your money on in a year. Whereas prior to the boom in late 2024, this would be the type of box you'd see maybe like a 10% gain on in a year. You really would not see this move. It would just slowly creep up over time. Now, the second lowest return has been on Chilling Reign, the PCTB, and I know Chilling Reign has two different versions. Same thing with Evolving Skies. And what I did is I just took the most expensive one for this. I believe that is Ice Rider Calyrex on this booster box. And you can see it's up 128.85% over the past year, sitting around $155.39. Third place is Crown Zenith, surprisingly. But this is kind of because this box was a little bit more expensive than most of the other PC TBs prior to mid-2024. But it's still up 146.54% over the past year, sitting around $283. Astral Radiance is going to be in fourth place, $132.12. That's 146.68% ROI over the past 12 months. Silver Tempest sitting around $196, very expensive PC ETB, 165.75% ROI. Next up, we have Brilliant Stars sitting around $145, 175.9% ROI. Then we have Evolving Skies, PC ETBs. This is the Glaceon, Vaporeon, Sylveon, Espeon one. This is sitting at $570 approximately, 182.95% ROI over the past year. And I do want to just show you guys the list right now for a second because you can see these have been going in order. But next up is Celebrations, which is sitting around $254. And you can see here, this is only 149.39% ROI over the past 12 months. So in theory, this should be sitting right between Astral and Silver Tempest, but Celebrations is kind of in the middle of its run right now. And if you look at most recent sales, you're actually very close to $300 on TCG Player and on eBay. This was sitting around $100 a year ago, so that's basically a 200% ROI. And that's why, for all intents and purposes, I put it this far down on the list. But even at 200% ROI over the past 12 months, it is not even close to Lost Origin at 265.05% ROI, $212 PCTB. And Fusion Strike, the big one up top, sitting around $328, which is a 394.48% ROI over the past 12 months. Now, you guys are probably wondering why some of these ROIs are in green and why some of them are in red. And this is just to illustrate whether the ROI on the PCTB is higher or lower than the regular ETB or the booster box. So for specialty sets like Pokemon Go, Crown Zenith, and Celebrations, we're comparing it to the regular ETB. And then for every other set like Chilling Reign, Astral, Brilliant, etc., I was comparing those to the ROI of the booster box. So you can see here, Pokemon Go, the PCTB did better than the regular ETB. Chilling Reign, the PCETB did better than the booster box. Crown Zenith, the regular ETB did way better than the PC version. I think the regular ETB is up like 250% almost over the past 12 months. Astral, PCTB outperformed the booster box. Same thing with Silver Tempest and Brilliant Stars. Evolving Skies, the booster box has actually performed better than the PC ETB over the past 12 months. I think the booster box was up 195%, if I remember correctly. Celebrations got outperformed by the regular ETB, and then Lost Origin and Fusion Strike both did better than the booster boxes. And if you want to go verify any of this data, you can just go to TCG Player and pull up the charts for all the booster boxes and ETBs. The only one I couldn't do on this list was Fusion Strike, because if you go to TCG Player, the graph for the 1-year chart on Fusion Strike booster boxes is absolutely destroyed. It's not working. So what I did is I went to Shiny and I just threw in the Fusion Strike booster box, and you can see current market price is around $740, and a year ago it was $239.92 or something like that. And if we take those numbers and throw them into an ROI calculator, it comes out to 208, 209%, something like that. And you can see that is nowhere close to the 395% approximately you're getting on the PC ETB. And I think it's fair to say that a lot of these ETBs were just undervalued for a long time. And it's going to be very interesting to see what they do over the next 12 months in comparison to the booster box. But as always, you guys let me know in the comments down below what you think. I'm curious to hear from you guys today which product you think will do better over the next 12 months, the PC ETBs from the Sword and Shield era or the Sword and Shield era booster boxes, and why do you think that? Also, go check out Shiny. Links to the Google Play Store and the App Store will be in the description and pinned comment below. With all that said, thank you so much for watching the video. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.